bought the BMW.
Yes.
So it was like, go ahead.
When we purchased it or when we picked it up?
Yeah, when we purchased it, that's the story of it. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we got them dressed and we were trying to look nice and everything, but it's just we went in there and they were like basically just.
Well, it was see, you miss all the really interesting details that make a good story, right? So it was like some random Tuesday or Thursday, I think.
Yeah, it was on a weekday.
It was on a weekday.
Yeah.
It was like
it wasn't a holiday.
it was like in the middle of the day, so it was like 11 o'clock maybe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we were like, hey, let's go order the BMW. Right? And we knew exactly what we wanted and all this other stuff. There's a dealership just a few miles down the road, like literally just
like
2 miles.
like 2 miles, not even.
Yeah. So I mean, it was like.
I'm skipping a jump.
Yeah. So we drive out there, right? I'm gonna pass these guys real quick. Swiping through. I didn't mean to. That was not on the Tesla. That just happened to be when I downshifted. I'm so sorry. That guy's gonna hate me. I wasn't trying to blast on either, buddy. So yeah, some random Tuesday. I think it was a Tuesday, and so we got dressed and we drove in there. Right? I think we drove in my GT350. Right? And so we show up, and we walk in, and they're like, "Can I help you?" Like, yeah, we want to talk to a salesperson. So get this guy, and this is this pretty old, grumpy guy, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's miles an hour. I'd probably come down off that. So we had this guy, and he's like, yeah, well, can I help you? Like, yeah, we'd like to order M4. What was the first thing he said? He's like, well, that's a serious performance automobile.
Yeah, and
like, are you sure you're
like,
whatever?
Can you drive it? Do you understand anything about auto? I
Yeah.
said, do you understand anything about automobiles and
Just
sports
like-
cars, really? Or,
It's just like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that we came in and specifically requested
That's it.
that vehicle,
Yeah.
like,
and like exactly, but people always do that.
it was like, did you see what we drove in in? I don't know, like, yeah, definitely, like, I think you could have approached it differently. It's like, hey, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
M4, that's sort of like, what do you currently drive? What are you in the market for, right? Like, to make sure, like, it's fine to, like, ask questions or whatever, but, like,
No, it was not a.
I guarantee you, and in fact, even at the time, like, I knew it was the case, but, like, I guarantee you I knew more about that car than he did, right?
Oh,
Technical
yeah,
specs
yeah.
and stuff like that, right? 100%. So that's not necessarily unusual. Like, that's not on these guys who do this for a living, because, like, there's tons of cars, and then remember, and stuff changes constantly. Like, you go and you get this little snippet of information every time specific about one car or one generation of one type of car or whatever, and then you're like, look at all this. No, these salesmen are idiots. And it's not the case, right? Not always. Like, some of them are, right? Like any industry, you get right? But, like, it's because your salesman doesn't know everything, about the car you're interested in doesn't mean. So we go through, and he's like, okay, well, we have one in the lot, and we're gonna check it out. It's like, I guess, like, I'm literally like, take the order and take our money, and we can go back to life. But, Lauren you got excited.
I did.
You got excited. So we're like, yeah, we take it out. So we went out to the lot, and like, he was like, oh, here. It's like, that's for her.
And I remember it was one that was like on like the stand or whatever they call it.
Yeah, so it was out like on display, like it wasn't just parked on the lot or whatever. So we went out there and we checked it out and so on and so forth, and like it was.
I didn't have my camera primed into it.
Sorry. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So that was I don't know if the camera caught it, but that was a GT500 parked on the side of the road. or like turning or whatever, right?
Yeah, at the stop sign or stoplight, whatever.
So we gave it all a little goosey goose. So what were we talking about?
I wouldn't sit in that vehicle that they had on the lot.
Sat there and like it was fine, right? Like so and so forth. So we get back and he's like, oh well, what do you guys want to do? Like, well, we said like the third or fourth time we want to order one. He's like, well, let's back to see if we can find it. It's like, okay. We go to 2018, like these options he puts in. He's like, yep, this is out in the country. What do you want to do? Or like, well, we'd like to order car. Like, do you guys do car orders? Like, he's like, yeah. He's like, okay, well, we want to do that. He's like, oh, it'll be months and months and months.
Yeah.
Right? We're like, yeah, that's fine. We've done this before. Like, we're familiar with the process, right? Not a problem. And so he goes, he puts in the order or whatever. He's like, oh, we're going to deposit. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it was funny because he came back and he's like, well, there's the order sheet. And like, he's very like we're wasting this guy's time, right?
Yes, he thinks he thinks we're not going to go through with it, or
yeah, right.
He's gonna.
And it's not like he's like being nice. He's not like being rude, mind you, but he's not being particularly nice about it either, right?
Yeah.
And so like, he's just kind of like very dismissive, I think would be the word, right? And to some degree I understand. We're kind of like young. We look younger than we are, I think, in my opinion. And we're in there, and like I kind of put on a collar shirt or whatever, but so obviously like this guy just wasn't buying it, so it's fine, right? And we're like, okay, well, is this the price we do? He's like, oh, we don't really do deals on those. He's like we sell, as many as we get allocated or whatever. So there's not a lot of incentive. He's like, well, see what you can do, right?
Yeah.
So he directs the paper and he walks off. And spends some time talking to the sales manager. Comes back, he's like, oh, we can do this. I was like, okay, that sounds good. We'll put it in order. And he's like, okay, well, I'm going to need a check. No, those are people that can stop off the side of the road.
I guess to go down to the beach right there.
I don't know. Question people in California. Hey, this is fucking crazy for crazy's sake. That was actually a cool looking road, man.
Yeah.
I wonder where that goes.
It goes to maybe that guy's house.
I don't know, but it was fucking cool. It wasn't like gated or like private driveway.
Yeah.
So we go and like I was like, hey, good, like check okay or whatever. It's like, yeah, okay. So you gotta write check. You need to bring your check. It's like, okay, we'll be right back. Like we live just down the road. Right, like legitimately 5 minutes. Right, we'll be back in 5 minutes. So I get in my car. We tear off. We go home. We get the checkbook. We come back.
We were back within 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was under 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Easily under 5 minutes. Because I was like timing it. I was like,
oh,
it's
you
okay.
were okay.
Yeah, I was like looking at it. I was like, yeah, we made it 5 minutes.
I was
So we
like,
walked in
I know
there.
exactly what it is. We're going to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, so we get it. And it was a case where like when we got home, she hopped out and like I turned the car around and she got in and we were like off. So like it was kind of funny. So we get back there and we walked in. It's like, hey, talk to so and so, right? Not gonna give the name of the dealership or like that, but like talk to so and so. Like, oh, let's see. And we're sitting there. We're trying to do this essentially over our lunch break, right? So we can get back to work and. He's just, he finally come back. He's like, oh, he's at lunch.
Yeah, he didn't wait.
He just went to lunch. Okay, well, can we talk to the sales manager? And she's like, hold on. And so the sales manager comes up and help. He's like, yeah, we came in to order for so-and-so. And he went to lunch. Like, we need to get the bus. Like, oh, you guys are ordering them for us. Like, yeah. She was like a little, she was definitely surprised.
She was surprised at how
definitely surprised.
I think that we were actually following.
But yes, right? Because I think he told her, yeah, these guys there's no chance of them buying this car. Yada, 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 right? Like, just, can we get them out of here? And so we went and gave her the check, and she actually had to like put in the order, right? He he like I guess did it in the system, but he didn't save it. So she was like, "Well, let me go look at his orders and see if he saved it." No, so we had to go do it all over again.
Yeah, I'd forgotten that part.
Yep. So like basically at this point in time, the sales manager has actually spent more time dealing with us as a customer than the guy, sales guy, right? And so when we talked to her, like, yeah, she's like, oh, order cars, it's not typical. I was like, yeah, but I mean, we order all of our cars, yeah, get exactly what we want. She's like, okay, you know, we're definitely like, she asked some questions, much better questions, like seeing like why we're buying it, this kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, making sure it was like good. I don't remember exactly the questions. I remember the questions that the salesperson asked because they were questions. I remember the questions she would ask. I was like, oh, I remember like leaving, being like, yeah, she did a much better job, which is good. You know, and so we got home, and like maybe 20 minutes later, we got a call from the guy. So, which was maybe about 30, 40 minutes after we showed back up, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, hey, you know, heard you ordered that M4, and you know, congratulations. Completely different tone, just completely different, like, attitude, everything else. It was night and day difference.
Yeah.
Which is kind of
It really was
funny and like a little some reason it's more off-putting, right? Because obviously like this guy didn't give two craps.
about.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden he gives two craps. You know? And whatever. He wasn't again, like he wasn't rude, right? He was just very dismissive, right?
Yeah.
Was my main complaint. And like I get it, like he probably have seen lots of people come in there asking for cars, you know, not really following through, or like, oh, I want to test drive this. We never asked for a test drive. We never actually sit in one either. Like that was like his suggestion. Literally, if we would have walked in there,
we didn't ask to sit in one.
if we would have walked in there and said, hey, we want to order an M4, and he said, okay, here's the order sheet. What options do you want? Okay, it's this much of a down payment. Like, here you go. Like, okay, we'll let you know what the progress is. We would have left, been 100% happy. 100% happy. It could have taken 5, 10, 15 minutes to do all that stuff. And that would have been it, right? And I think we spent like, for the time we went there the first time, the time we went there the second one, because we basically had to go through the entire sales process like twice. I think it was a good like maybe hour and 15 minutes or something like that. It was an hour more than it needed to be because they didn't take it seriously, right? Which is not obviously the first time that's happened in our lives. Obviously, as like time goes on, it probably will happen less as we get more closer in age to get closer in age to the people that typically buy these cars. You know, this is not in like California or whatever. This is in Texas. You know, California, like there are tons of M4s. Not a lot of M4s in Texas.
No, it's very uncommon.
Yeah, it was
And
very
very
rare.
uncommon for a female as well.
Yeah.
Everyone thought it was your car.
Yeah.
No,
We
it's my
come
car.
here and tell them, oh, it's her car.
They're like, oh, awesome. And next person, hey, nice car. Yeah. Anyways, I'm used to that.